Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, Tom and I are going to be talking about why we both shut down our social media marketing agencies and joined them together essentially to form a fucking mega agency. So Tom, let's go back to February 2020. Wait, was it 2020 or 2021?
Yeah, 20, we're now in our year and a half. So it was just before really, because we were well, the business,
It
yeah. In terms
was
of actually
2020, it was 2021 because it's coming up to 2 years.
yes, that's right. Fucking hell. Okay. So I had an agency. You had an agency. No, wait, let's go back. I had an agency. It was doing rather well, like okay. It was more than what I was making in my job, like my 9 to 5 corporate job. I'd quit that. Well, got fired actually, but got fired out of that job and was just doing this out and out. And I very quickly, within 4 weeks, right, made more money in that in SMMA than I did in my 50K a year company car job, right? Which I got fired from. Anyway, which I'm going to keep telling everyone. So what I was then making money, and I don't know, it was okay, like I was enjoying it. I then won a client, and it was a hat brand. We're still in touch with that, with the people who own that. It was a hat brand. It was ecom. Okay. And I didn't really know much about ecom. I'd been doing out and out lead gen, and I'd been following Harry underscore SMMA, the person on the school, as you can see. I was following Harry when he was at about, this is before he became the mega juggernaut now, right? I was following Harry when he had like a measly 3,000 followers, but he had 3,000 followers and he had amazing engagement, as he still does. But Harry was posting really unusual content, and if you've not seen Harry's content, it's changed. It's organically grown in a different way over the last year. But before that, he was just posting notepads of advice on what he does and how to win clients and blah blah blah. But it was just bullet point form, and I was watching all these posts come up, and he was very knowledgeable, and you can't fake that shit. You can't copy that from other people. It was very personal. He'd written these out himself. It was completely unique, engaging, bespoke content. And I was following Harry for a while. And I remember I had a couple of questions once, and I DM'd Harry, and he came back saying, "Oh mate, yeah, you might want to do this, you want to do that." He wasn't being paid from me. He was just being a nice dude. So then and we weren't really chatting on Instagram at all. We weren't like, I don't think you even knew who I was, to be honest.
No.
And I had this client. It was an ecom brand. I thought, fuck me, I didn't really want to do this, but I've won him. It was $1,000 a month. And I was like, I need to team up with someone. I need to at least have some help with it. I reached out to him on a DM and said, hey, mate, I've got a client, need some help with it. Are you interested? And he came back with, hey, look, I don't accept full outsourcing work, but I will team up with you on it. So we work together on the project. Never forget the DM. I could probably find it if I went back far enough. And we then got on a Zoom then. But the thing is with that, we'd actually put in the diary of like a Zoom call. So it was like, yeah, let's connect. Are you
Got it
free?
here, mate. The 26th of February 2021 is a meeting in my phone that says meeting with Tom Ford about white label, is what I put. As if you were gonna like we were gonna white label. So I don't know. This is what I put in for some reason.
Yeah. So if people don't know what white label means like you're letting someone else do the work on behalf of your brand, so no one knows there's any, like, it's not you. A whole different video. But yeah, so 26th of Feb, 26th he said.
Yep. Friday the 26th.
So, but we'd been talking about 5 weeks. So it'd been in the diary for about 4 to 5 weeks that had been going by where we were going to just talk about it. I must have had a known start date with that client. Otherwise, I wouldn't have delayed it that much, I don't think. But yeah, so therefore, I'm waited on. And I remember the week before or 2 days before, I think you messaged me saying, hey, mate, are you still on for our call? And I was like, yeah, totally. And we got on a Zoom call and it worked out perfectly. And we teamed up. We did a pretty good job for this hat brand. And it went from there. And one client became two because we then had a celebrity makeup artist in New York that came to us and was like, I want to work with you. And this is under my brand at the time. And I just remember thinking, like, one client became 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I was like, I'm shutting down my business, Harry. And you were like, yeah, I'm going to shut mine down too. And we formed a super agency, and it's the two of us, and we now have 3 members of staff. Like, well, we have a team of 5. So it that is kind of the story and the journey, how it went from my end. But like, what was it? That's why I shut my business down. So why would you ever shut your? But you were doing you were doing better than me, I think, at the time, Harry. But
yes, mine was I'd been going longer than you had, different clients, wasn't doing anything crazy like money wise. But then I had the academy as well, which was a separate part of it. So before the Digital Culture Academy, I had the Switch Up Academy, which was just kind of 1.0 of the first mentorship that I put together. And yeah, we kind of helped you, teamed up on that one project. And the way that worked was the client was a member of your agency essentially, and then I just invoiced you for half of the payment. And then so like it was 2 agencies working together. It wasn't outsourced because we were just fully managed. I was on all the calls. It was like I was owner of your agency, but it was just me invoicing you for the work. And the way I remember it going from just one project to the next was how we were like communicating around the client, if that makes sense. So like SMA is a very lonely world, especially if you've not got any friends in the space as well. Like me, I didn't tell anyone about my agency. Only like 2 family members knew I was doing it. And so I didn't have anyone to really talk to about the struggles of it, or not getting ads, or like bouncing ideas off of. So when we teamed up on the e-commerce brand, it was like, fuck, now I've got someone to ring and be like, did you see what this prick said about Facebook ads on YouTube? Or just all this shit that we just talk shit about, as well as bouncing off ideas and stuff. And then how we managed that client. And then when the next opportunity came, the celebrity makeup artist and the online coach that we signed after, the feeling of negotiating that deal with someone and like celebrating with someone was like, why would you do that alone? And then seeing how we managed 3 clients, because there was a stage where we had all 3 of them on at once. It was like, I don't see how we're going to take this to 50K a month without having this partnership.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and then the question came about the academy, which was a big conversation we had about, right, I'm making this much money from the academy each month. Would you be interested in doing one together? And I was like, that was probably a harder decision than doing the agency stuff, to be honest, just because it was like that academy was kind of like more of my baby rather than my agency, just because I put so much time into the videos. But then I thought that to keep the academy fresh and being able to sell it, you're going to have to update those videos. You're going to have to develop the team further to support all the new members coming in. So it was very much like, right, am I going to split that profit in half to grow 10 times? And it was the same with the agency. And it's like, I watched a podcast with, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Kyle from the Nelk Boys. And he said, you do have to sacrifice some upfront money in order to earn long term. So it was one of them things where it's just like, it felt like the right decision.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is like, when we teamed up, $1,000 client became a $500 client for me, but the work's halved. So there has to be a trade-off. And I think what we're trying to get out of this video is like partnering with someone. Accountability is very, very big in business in itself. Entrepreneurship is one of the key things about being an entrepreneur, which is a word that's been diluted by a lot of fucking scroty little people. But being a self-made, income generating person is what I'm trying to say. You have to be motivated and accountable, and it's the accountability which people really struggle with, which is why a lot of people pay for accountability coaches and people who will they have to report to on their business and do homework for. And we work with a lot of life coaches, or we have, and they've all got other coaches that they coach them and make them accountable. By teaming up with someone in SMA, and this is not us saying you have to do it or don't do it, but consider it. If there's someone and respect, and not me and Harry, but know and respect in the industry, why not try and see if you can partner with them? And initially just to test it and to see how that works. There's nothing wrong with that, I would say, because you get all the accountability.
Yeah, one big bit of advice I'd have for someone, because many people ask me, Harry, how do you find a business partner? And I don't think you can go out and find a business partner. I don't think you can go out and pitch people, do you want to be a business partner? I think it has to happen really naturally. Otherwise, it's just not going to be long term. We were very lucky to find, another person that had the same vision of us, wanted to take the agency to fucking crazy lengths, wanted to have loads of employees, wanted to just build this empire, which we're very lucky about. But I wouldn't have got there if I didn't have the mindset at the beginning where I had to take every call. I had this mindset where if I want to grow the business, I want it, especially if you're from a small town or a small area, you have to grow your network. And that doesn't mean going to networking meetings. It just means when you're presented with any kind of opportunity, I think you have to take it. Like, it was very close. I remember thinking, do I take this call with Tom? Like, is it worth it? Is it just going to be someone on Instagram that's just wasting my time or wants to sell me something? Because I had loads of meetings before I got on with you and loads of meetings after where people say, oh, I've got this amazing opportunity for you. I can bring you loads of clients. You get on there and they're selling you this networking group you have to pay $2,000 for. There's loads of shit like that. But I think if I didn't take those shitty calls, I wouldn't have got the one good call that led to the fucking empire we're building now. So it's like, I do think you have to be open to putting yourself in a position to have doors open for you, because it's very easy to be like, I'm an SMMA owner, I want to get to 20K a month, I'm just going to stay tunnel vision and not take any calls or kind of seek opportunities. Like, we're still doing it now, mate. Like, we'll get on calls with people that might open a door for one opportunity, might lead us down this path, but it might not. But we're happy to do it just because, the 1% of chances that do come off lead to amazing things.
Yeah, I think it's a bold when and the title of this video is like why we close our SMMAs down. That is genuine truth. We literally shut them down to start again, effectively. We both had clients that we dragged over with each other, but quite a bold move. And I think business is all about taking risks and doing everything you just said there. Like, completely agree.
That was a big risk for both of us. Like, how did we know at the time? I know we had months where we worked on clients, so it wasn't like bang, first day of meeting, let's ditch it all. But we had no idea that, I don't know, we were gonna pay each other. We were gonna, do snidey shit where you sign a client and then not tell them about it all. Like, there's been 100% trust from the get-go, which really is unusual.
Quite amazing, really. And for those watching, me and Harry pay ourselves the same dividend each per month. There's never any difference in or anything like that. And the other thing is, obviously, as people, you have to gel with the person you're with. I'm significantly older than Harry. I like to think I look 21, mate, as we've said. But in serious terms, like, I'm significant. I'm 15 years, 16 years, fucking hell, older than you. So it's there's so many different factors to it, but I think in many ways that works because we elevate off each other's age and we pick up different types of clients and communicate very differently. But yeah, it's a true story. We wanted to share the story with people because I think it's quite unusual. Certainly in SMMA, it's almost unheard of, which has led us to the fact that we both have share everything in terms of academy, and it all comes under our brand. But there's also no other two people in our industry doing what we're doing. We're doing these podcasts. If you're listening to us on Apple Music or Spotify, or you're watching us on YouTube, where else can you see two people in the space who are talking so open and honestly about their journeys? You just can't.
Mate, to be around as long as we've been, there's only a few people that I can name that have been around. It doesn't feel like our agency's been around. Our joint agency's been around 2 years, let alone the time we put in before, that are still saying the same stuff and haven't been called out for shady bollocks or not doing what they say. Like, we're 100% transparent. Like, I come on these videos every single day and speak about this with such confidence that everything we say is never going to be called out for bullshit or not true, because we're 100% doing what we're saying we do. And that's why most people can't talk about it in the way we do, is because they aren't doing what they're saying they're doing. But I think that's an interesting video, mate. Do you think there's anything we've not covered about the journey there?
I don't know. I think most people understand the fact that I kind of spend a lot of my time in New York too, and that's an interesting thing to cover. Like, why am I in New York? Well, my partner lives here. Our business has brought us over here, so we have clients all across the from East Coast to West Coast, and in the UK. We haven't got any in Europe. That's not an area that we ever focus on, mate. Is it ever? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's more of a language problem in Europe because they all expect you to speak their language, not necessarily English all the time. So there's a bit of a thing there. But US and UK is where our business is at. And
well, you wouldn't have met your future wife, mate, if it wasn't for SMMA.
I went, I was invited by a client to talk at the Javis Center in New York City. If you don't know what it is, Google it. It's a huge conference center, beautiful. And I was there in New York on my own. We took time out of the business for me to go. Did a speech with my client. It was fun. It was interactive. Didn't feel like work to me, really. I didn't see it as it was work. It was just me speaking like I would on here. And then went out, and then the rest is history. And I meet my partner. And that then means I'm situated for a lot of half the month here in New York, and that has grown that aspect of the East Coast side for us.
You're essentially you fly to New York twice a month, and essentially are the kind of pivotal point on the East Coast around all of our US clients.
Yeah, but how that's worked out it's quite staggering, really.
It has, mate. And I remember I've said this in a few videos before. When I first started SMMA, the thought of being able to fly to America, New York, LA, Boston, Miami, all these places to meet clients and go there for business was like that was like my dream. And then when we did it, especially in the early days when you and me were doing those trips, it was like, mate, I remember there's been a few moments on those trips where we've looked at each other and went, mate, look where we are, what we're doing. It's just fucking incredible. And that wouldn't have happened if we didn't shut down those agencies and take the risk and be like, fuck it, let's just put our trust in each other and see how far we can fucking take it.
Amazing, really. But if two people can do it, there's nothing stopping other people from doing it. And the dream is there to be had. And we don't feel like we've achieved yet, mate. This is the thing about me and you. We do well, and we do very well with what we have, and our brand is building. But it's only I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of our potential.
Yeah, massively, mate.
But there you go. I thought we'd come on, share it, because we often get questions like, how did that happen? And why did you do that? And hopefully this is, even for our students, we talk about it quite openly with our students. But this should be for everyone just to go, yeah, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And it really, you can. Just need to learn the right ways and connect with the right people.
Well, hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Hope you found it useful. Learn a bit more about how we came together, the journeys we're on, and hope you enjoyed. Can't remember what our last video was on, mate. You don't watch that previous video, it's in the description somewhere. Give it a watch. I'm sure it's good. But yeah, like, subscribe, follow, and we'll see you in a few days' time.